All right. Lauren Aparicio. Is it Aparicio or Aparicio?
You nailed it. Aparicio.
Right on. Nice Irish name, huh?
No. Actually, my mom is Irish. That's where my freckles come from. And my dad is from Spain. So that's Aparicio.
Right on. Right on. So it turns out we just were talking before the podcast started that we are actually inhabiting the same state. We both live in Georgia.
We're pretty close by.
In, undisclosed locations.
Come on by for some biscuits.
You're going to give people the wrong impression about us Southerners.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I know that is true. But biscuits
like
are,
moonshine.
You better know how to make a biscuit, Bill, if you're from the South.
I just know how to eat them and
Okay.
go to Waffle House. But
that's good too. Ooh, how do you like your, now I'm interviewing you.
Right on, let's do it.
What's your thing at Waffle House? I'll tell you what I get.
I get cheese and eggs, especially if I've been drinking. Cheese and eggs with, which is usually when you go to Waffle House. It's kind of, taboo to go to Waffle House when you haven't been drinking. But
yeah, that's kind of true.
So at Waffle House, you have these amazing hash browns. And I think they have a slang sort of code you have to give when you order them. Like I usually say I want them smothered, covered, scattered, and chunked or something like that. Or scattered. No, that's it. Scattered, smothered, covered, and chunked.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's pretty. I don't do the chunked though. Who puts ham in their hash browns?
I don't really, not anymore, but I've been known to do it. So, but yeah, it's like my daughter sent me a video last week of people trying to explain Waffle House to us, someone that's not from the South, and it just doesn't go well. But
I eat food all day. I'm a former chef, so
yeah. And well, speaking of that, Anthony Bourdain, who everybody loves and clearly knows about food, he went there on a show once.
He went to Waffle House?
He went with some guy, he has kind of an in-country person everywhere he goes, and his in-country person in South Carolina said, well, let's go to Waffle House after they had just gotten hammered. Nice. And Anthony Bourdain was just loving every second of it. He's like, this is the best food I think I've ever had. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure I'm over-dramatizing.
No, that's so cool. I actually got to interview him once.
Really?
Yeah. And I asked a question, and then someone else, there's a bunch of us asking questions. And then someone said, like, what would be your last meal? And he said Russ and Daughters in New York, which is incredible. Like typical bagels and schmear and babka, Jewish matzo ball soup. It's legendary. But yeah, the fact that he went to Waffle House, I see you.
Yeah. He at least got to live once.
Yeah, mine was, I used to get, I'd go with friends and we would have the jukebox then where you still put a quarter in.
Yeah.
And I would play Steve Miller Band the Joker. That was like me and my best friend's song. And then I would order a chicken sandwich plate, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo on the side, hold the pickle, a vanilla Coke with only 1.5 pumps of syrup because I didn't want it too sugary. Otherwise, they'll put 3 in there and that's just like diabetes, right? And then my hash browns would be scattered and smothered, which I think smothered is with onions.
Yes.
So it was just scattered and smothered, and that's it. And
that's good. And then covered's with cheese, right?
Covered is cheese, and I'm just not a massive cheese person.
Oh yeah.
Even to this day, like I know it's weird, but
for our international listeners, this is American cheese. It's only the best. Yeah, there's something about American cheese which isn't really cheese, but it's that clearly American. Yeah, I grew up on it, and I don't know if I tasted real cheese until I was an adult, but I do know that I spent a few months in Europe when I was about 18 or 19, and one of the things I missed more than anything was American cheese and iced tea.
Iced tea, ugh, y'all.
Sweet tea.
This is just going to be an entire show about food. I'm sorry. This is what
I can do that.
Always happens when I'm in an interview. It always goes to food.
I can do that. Yeah. And so now you've traveled the world and lived in various places as an actress, comedian, multi-hyphenate, as I've heard you say.
I'm a multi-hyphenate. I'm not a comedian, but I do scripted comedy.
Well, then you're a comedian. Why not?
I mean, I guess. Okay, I'll take it. I'm a comedian.
Not a stand-up comedian, though.
I don't do stand-up. Yeah.
Right,
So,
okay.
but I do funny things on television as well as drama. Yeah, I've lived between Atlanta, where I grew up. I'm originally from Asheville, North Kakalaki. Grew up in Roswell, not the alien town, the other one here in Georgia. And then went out to LA when I was 26. And at the time I was not pursuing acting. I was working in production, which is where I had started in Atlanta, working behind the scenes on movies like Zombieland and Hall Pass. And then I went to LA and started working at Fox and worked on a little show that was called Friends with Benefits. And it was the first season of Modern Family as well. So you can imagine like all the cool people you would see on the lot, which was super exciting. Always Sunny in Philadelphia was shooting there at the time. I made out with Jason Segel once on the lot.
You know, not to drop names or anything, but
I'll pick them up off the floor once I drop them. Don't worry. I'll make sure I sweep before I leave. But you know, it's so funny. I've never said that publicly. Hi, Jason. Remember me? But yeah, so I sort of had this longing for a very long time. I was working for other people in the business as a cast assistant. I was having a ball, but I wasn't really living my truth. And I wasn't really talking to people about how I wanted to perform, because I was an actor in high school and I went to college and sort of silenced myself, but opened myself up in another way because I became a radio DJ. So I was able to sort of hide behind the mic, but also continue to be myself, because I didn't really want to be seen. Like I wanted to be seen at a party because I was like the fun girl at the party, right? But I wasn't ready to show people me in an intimate way within a performance. So I was able to do that behind the mic. And that was very exhilarating for me. So I did that for a really long time, and then decided, after working with my mentor, he just kind of said, you need to be an actor and you got to do it now. And I was 33 at the time. This is a few years ago. And I just kind of took a leap of faith and I moved back to New York after having already lived there. And I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard because I love at the bottom, the ticker says, not financial advice. You might lose all your funds. Welcome to acting.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's how I start my podcast. If you've ever listened to the audio version, that's the very first thing I say is I've got this, creepy, thing with big reverb, and affected. And it says, don't speculate on anything. You'll lose all your money.
I mean, that's acting 101. So it's perfect. Like, this is so succinct right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The synergy is unreal.
So the transfer the transition to BitClout was an easy one.
Yes. I'm in all the pyramid schemes. Just kidding. But anyway, it's not a pyramid scheme. I think BitClout is super awesome. It's been an amazing way to bring like what I've already been doing this last year into a cryptocurrency space, which is something that I knew nothing about before BitClout. I only own a little bit of Bitcoin. And I've just been having fun, lightly investing in others and other creators and lifting up creators and being a creator myself of many things, multi-hyphenate, right? I'm an artist, I'm a host, I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor.
Crypto investor.
What?
You're a crypto investor now.
I guess, yeah, a little bit.
Add that to your hyphenates.
So crazy. But I was already sort of very heavily immersed in Clubhouse as of January 3rd when I signed up. And it's kind of like it took over my life, but it was an incredible way to workshop all these ideas that I have, because I'm such a chronic idea disorder kind of person. Like the ideas just come out all the time. And so Clubhouse has been such a great way to sort of enact those and see what sticks and see what doesn't and see what brings me joy. And if something doesn't make me feel good, I leave that room and I go create something else. And it's been really exciting to play with that. And then BitClout came along and I was like, ooh, well, I have Twitter, but I never use it. And I was like, but this is different. This is really connecting creators to their investors, but to human beings that like want to see them rise, want to see their journey, want to be a part of what they're doing. And even more so, the fact that you can't have BitClout without Clubhouse. You're meeting the people who are putting coin into your creator coin, and you're listening to their voices daily. And there's this incredible symbiotic relationship that's happening between BitClout and Clubhouse and creators out there. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me you took that to a whole new level and quickly. I think all of us it seems like we have this kind of community that's evolved where people meet sort of every day on Clubhouse and just kind of share notes and check in. I liken it sometimes to, I've even said it's almost like an office space, like a big office space with a bunch of cubicles, and people come and go all day long. And eventually at some point in the day, somebody decides to close the door and let's just go home.
Yeah.
Because I've seen rooms that are started by 2 people in the morning and it's going at 6 o'clock at night by 5 other people that just happen.
That's amazing. That's how I started on Clubhouse, in those kind of rooms that were like 10 hours. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
so
I
like that people are switching off shifts because you will burn out. And I think just like the entertainment industry, we have those peaks and valleys, and some people may say COVID was a valley, but for me, it was a peak, because I was finally able to not just step into acting like I've been doing the last 5 years, but I stepped into creating my own stuff, my own content, with my show Quarantine But Cute on Instagram, where I interview people from all over the world during COVID, to Clout Factor and creating that, and also having a music industry background and being able to bring that as well. I used to do tour production before I ever even did film production. So being that multi-hyphenate, I feel like I finally found a place between BitClout and Clubhouse where I can really thrive. But you also have to take care of yourself, and you also have to know when to step back and be present with what's in front of you as well, because you don't want that time to go by, because it will.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Family, business, everything. I don't think it's not like people involved with this, for the most part, we're just sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
But so you have to balance it. I'm constantly trying to balance, I have a business and family and everything as well. So time can get away from you. But, but you took on the role of producing a whole sort of show that I think is going to go somewhere, because it just has a natural fit to go to another medium. But right now it's only on Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, Clout Factor is only on Clubhouse. We've been recording the episodes so we can put those highlights on YouTube. Kelly McCall is a social media manager, so she has been amazing, because she's been a part of the Clout Factor team since day one, and she's also making sure that once a show is over, since we're only doing it once a month now to make it this really big production, we're making sure that we highlight all the past contestants and creators, so people don't forget about them. They know that they're there, and you can find all those people on BitClout on our Clout Factor page, and you can also sign up to be a contestant there. And that Rick Wall, my partner, who's incredible with this, who's been there since day one, and everybody, Yellow Red Sparks, Joshua, Michael Joseph, Thor Torrens, GMF, like Gabby. There's so many incredible people, Luca, that are involved in the show that are excited. And I think that's what's really fun, is like when you come to an idea and everyone immediately is like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is when it's not work, even though it's work, and we do work really hard, especially Rick. Rick is honestly, couldn't do the show without him, because I come up with an idea and he's like, all right, I'll make it happen. And it's like, he's like my fairy godfather. And he has a really cool engineering background, and he's good with all the paperwork stuff and helping me get everybody together. And, we want to make it a legitimate show, but it's legitimized by the creators, right? And so all these incredible people come on for 3 rounds and they give us their best offer. And we have investors that say, I'm going to put money into your creator coin because I think that you're not only going to go the long haul, I love what you're doing, and I love how you're lifting up the BitClout community. And who wouldn't want to be a part of that? It's so fun.
Yeah, it is. I was a little reluctant when I first heard you talking about it. I was like, I don't know if I get it. And I was out jogging or walking or whatever, listening. And I was like, oh, this is super cool. And I try to tune in when I can. And it's been pretty amazing. I loved the first episode when you had somewhat of a bidding war going on.
Oh my God, I know. I don't know how that will. I hope that happens again, because that's the thing, is people hear the person and they want to be in first, right?
Yeah.
Especially because their creator coin is so low. Their coin price is so low.
But you haven't really had that since yet, have you?
Not that we know of. I mean, you know, I'm assuming that as soon as people hear, they go immediately. And unless we're noticing it live, you know, we can't pull them up from the audience, right? But on that first episode, we saw immediately who invested in somebody. And so we brought them up. I think it was Connor Mitchell. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was Connor, right? And it was just hilarious. Like those little elements make the show so spontaneous and fun. That's not planned. You know, we have no idea. The only thing I plan are the 6 contestants ahead of time. We vet them with an advisory team. That's not me. We have a separate team that goes through submissions and picks 6 contestants. And then that last card is the last round is the wild card round. And we pick people at random, and we just have our eye on people. Certain people on the team have their eye on people in the audience and are looking at their profiles ahead of time. So when we get to that wild card round, I mean, I guess it's not completely blind, but, you know, cause we don't want to bring a troll up, right? Or somebody who doesn't have a bio, but we screen like live for those 3, which is really exciting.
So if I were listening in, there's a chance I could be called upon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's podcasters, it's musicians, it's people who are starting a business, it's anybody creating anything. It's not just the arts, right? Being a creator.
I mean, of course, but I never knew that part about this. I guess I haven't been able to listen to all of every show. So I missed that, but that's cool. And then like, so what has been the relative coin increase for each contestant? Is it kind of reliable?
Definitely people have doubled and tripled their coin. Connie, who won the first Clout Factor, went from 0 streams to almost 1 million overnight.
Wow.
So that's crazy. I mean, she just really hit in the market doing this sort of BitClout version of Riders on the Storm, but she called it Riders on the Clout.
Oh yeah. And she mentions me in that. Actually, she mentions that I sold her coin, and I'm like, okay, Connie, you didn't have to say that.
Connie, goes out for you.
Yeah, and I was so embarrassed, and I was like, wait a minute, you don't even know what I was up to. I was trying to consolidate a bunch of coins for something. I was just selling like crazy. I didn't even look at who I was selling. I had all these little coins, like I'd put $1 here and $1 there. So
I mean, look, I think people need to make money too. Like, I think it's okay to take a little money out here and there. I mean, if you're gonna buy something and then rug pull, I mean, that's
no. I'm sure I took like $1 out because that was my motive. It was like either that day or the day before. I was like, I got to just get out of all these $1 and $2 positions. So I just started liquidating all of them.
No, that totally makes sense.
Because I was like, I can't keep up. You know, I don't know if they're making money or anything. So I just started liquidating, and then she puts that in her song. She's like, BitClout, Billy, why'd you?
Oh, I've called people out.
Why'd you sell my coin? Don't you love me anymore?
No, totally. I've called people out before, which I won't name, but I've called them out on stages. And it's only been like 2 people, but it's funny, you know. And it's like I'm not going to spend all my energy in my messages being like, "Why did you do this to me?"
Oh yeah. Like, I could tell. I could tell she was doing it in jest, but you know, and she and I get along great. She's hilarious.
Connie's so great.
I literally the other night heard her. I tuned in as I was driving back from Atlanta from a shoot late at night, and it was something about her and Tori Seller, she was doing a room about Tori Seller, NFT something scam.
Oh shit!
And as soon as I jump in there, of course, Tori says, "Hey, Bill, how you doing?" And she goes, "Bill, isn't Tori a scammer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course he's a scammer." You know, just because I'm giving him a hard time, you know, he's a friend. So then I found out somebody had just been hassling him in a hardcore way, and he got mad and left the room. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't really mean you were a scammer. I was just giving you a hard time like I always do.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like, I love Tori, love Connie, love everybody. But that's when I was talking to you earlier before the interview about like burnout. Also like Clubhouse being a little bit high school. Sometimes we just don't know what's happening in someone's life, and you do have to tread lightly. Yeah. And so when you go to the rooms, I highly recommend being in there for a few minutes before you speak, just so you can read the room and you know what to say.
Yeah. And there was hardly anybody in the room, but what happened was, I think it was a conspiracy between the two of them. They were trying to do a room to make fun of him as a scammer, and knowing he wasn't.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then that happened right when I came in the room. And then, but I didn't really realize, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? Is this real or not? And she must have said Tori's a scammer like 100 times in like 5 minutes. Well, then I started finally go, oh, I think she's just this is a whole, ruse that they're doing to make fun of scammers, and then eventually they got him back in a room, and I think they were having fun with it. But she was hilarious.
I'm not saying any names. No drama.
Point being, though, she's so low key and has that, late night radio voice, but she's funny as can be. So I was literally driving down 85 laughing like crazy because what she was carrying on about, saying hick and neck and nunk and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the BitClout community is amazing. Yeah, it's really cool how people are coming together, and I'm so happy to have a plethora of creators to choose from. It's really exciting.
Yeah. And to be clear, she won the first Clout Factor.
Mm-hmm. Right. She won the first Clout Factor. Barry Galaska won the second, and Pistol Hill won the third.
Barry is
Barry's a
male or female. I don't.
She's a singer, and then Connie's a voice actor.
Yeah.
So Connie won.
She sings too.
What?
Connie sings too.
She sings too. Yeah. Yep. And then Barry, and then Pistol Hill. And I don't, they're all incredible. And I don't want people to think this is a singing competition, because it's not. It's more about how are these people making us feel? Yeah. And what does the community want? Because we don't vote anymore. We voted the first 2 episodes, but now we have text to vote. And so Pistol Hill won because of the audience last week. Okay, well, that's cool. I didn't get to hear the end of that show. I heard his song. I had heard him on something else, and I was intrigued because he's also, I guess, here in Georgia. I think he's in Nashville.
Or I think he had mentioned he works in Georgia near where I live. So I was like, hey, let's get you on the podcast or something. But as it turns out, I had jumped on a website just looking for more about him, and his music that is on this website I found was way better than what he played. Not that what he played wasn't good.
They didn't play live. They did a playback. So hopefully we will have them perform on the next episode, which will be June 11th on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening to that. And being a country fan, I was like, well, we need to get together and hang out, man. Let's do a podcast or something. But no, I'm glad to hear he won. So that's cool.
Yeah, they did great.
So let me ask you this, because I've wondered about like the whole idea of BitClout. People are creating projects, and I've been let's face it, I've been a lone wolf in this whole thing. I do now with my team and my agency and production company I started this just kind of on my own as a side project. And then I reached a point of this is too much. Now I have some of my people doing some of the legwork and editing and things like that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I host my own show and produce everything.
Oh yeah, probably my first 15, 16 episodes, I did completely by myself, edited them, did everything. Yeah. And so now I've started putting some load on some other people, but I still own it all. I don't have a partner in this thing. But you guys are forming partnerships, like literal, like business partnerships with people you didn't know before, probably. So how do you do that? Like, how does that start when you say, hey, this is an awesome idea, let's do it. Now comes the next step of, okay, who's doing what and who gets what, and how do we operate?
I mean, I can't give you details because all that's private, but I can tell you that.
Sure, I'm not asking for details, but like, do you literally sort of think through it like a real business would, like in real life, so to speak?
Yeah, it's also because, if we don't have any money right now to pay people, I want to make sure people are being honored for what they want to put in, right? So like, for example, Kelly McCall is really great with social media. She's 25 years old. It's a part of her daily routine anyway, and she's excited to do it. So it just fit, right? Luca has helped us with logos. He's helped us promote. He's been a great promotions manager, producer. Rick Wall has helped me with all the back end. I, get a lot of the talent to come on and perform for our guest performances that happen throughout the show. I also go into rooms and scout for talent. And then different people on our team are the ones that are looking for whales and investors, including myself. And then sponsorships. Rick has been helping with that a lot. You know, we're working with Hyped now, which is the world's first crypto ticketing platform.
Right.
And so they sponsored the show last week, and that was incredible. They had their first concert last night with Yellow Red Sparks and Mercury, and it was incredible. And all you have to do is put some money into their coin, and you get a private ticket.
Yeah,
for a live streaming event for now. But then I'm sure they'll have, you know, I don't work with them, so I can't speculate, but I'm sure they'll have certain tiers for different events of how much you actually have in the coin, which makes total sense. But yeah, everything we do is vetted, everything, especially contestants ahead of time, for the 6 that we choose for the first 2 rounds. And then other than that, you know, we're on Zoom calls and pre-production meetings, and we're on Telegram. And I am, even if the show's not happening, I'm constantly in contact with Rick and with the team as needed for future shows. So, you know, it was a little run and gun at first, but now I feel like we have a really cool flow, and we want to do it once a month because, you know, not everyone's getting paid, right? We all have other lives and other projects, and we want to make sure that each show people are going to be really excited to come to. You know, you don't want to burn people out and do it every week. I think it's exciting to do it once a month and get people really hyped up, and go, oh my God, Clout Factor's coming. You know, and it gives us time to really find the best of the best creators, because our investors, it's real money. It's Bitcoin is real money, y'all. And everyone keeps saying monopoly money. No, it's real money. You may not be able to take it off the platform yet, but it is real money going and turning into BitClout and then being put into your creator coin. So I want to make sure that these investors are excited, and we'll be putting top dollar amounts in people to see them go long term.
Yeah. So, all right. So far from what I've heard some good talent on there. Mainly it's a lot of singers and musicians and
a lot of NFT artists and artists too, though.
And some of that. But, you know, at what point do you feel like it'll reach a kind of a American Idol AGT type thing where you can have judges say, you know what, it just didn't work for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think people have asked, like, do we want to have a Simon Cowell? Do we want to have that kind of person? If that's more exciting to an audience to have somebody do that, great, you know, but I right now am just about getting those creators in and showcasing them.
No, I don't blame you for that. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to do what other people are doing, and I've never done that. Maybe that's why certain things I've done are successful and other things aren't. But, you know, I think it's not about reinventing the wheel. I'm not trying to do that per se, but I had that question has definitely been asked. Like, are people going to get constructive criticism? And I've said to the team, like, if you're not loving it, you can say that. Like you know, the investors are not required to invest in anyone they don't believe in. So when I ask for feedback and investors are silent, they've kind of spoken.
Yeah, I agree. I've noticed that sometimes I think I've even heard one person kind of say, yeah, it's not really my style, but I think you're great. You know, that sort of thing.
And maybe that's all we do. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how the next episode goes, which is June 11th, 1 p.m. Eastern on Clubhouse. You know, we're getting submissions for that now. If you want to sign up, you just go to the Clout Factor page on BitClout and hit that Google form. It's the link in the bio. And we'll be going through submissions over the next few weeks and contacting people about a week before the show to confirm.
Yeah. Is there any chance that it's going to leave the Clubhouse as the primary stage? All right.
I don't know yet. It's new. We're only on our 3rd episode.
Yeah. I mean, so much with like the hype tickets thing that's come out and the other things. I just came across a feed that I was looking at it when you showed up, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was oh wait, here it is. On bitcast.com. And they're literally feeding all the best videos from BitClout on it. I didn't even know that existed till
there's so many amazing things coming out on BitClout. I mean, I'm going to stay in my lane, and I'm going to commit to Clout Factor. And that's me hosting it and being the executive producer, creator, director. You know, when we go live, you guys may not know this, my entire team is on Zoom.
Okay.
And I use that as a back chat, and our investors and our guest performers are there as well, and our DJ.
Okay.
And so everybody is there because, and this is how I do my table reads on Clubhouse, which, by the way, Town Hall shouted us out the other day. I do table reads of Friends in the Office. I have Modern Family next week, and we take the script and we just read it with actors and non-actors, and it's so fun. But I also have my cast, people that I've cast from Clubhouse on Zoom, even though we're muted, right? Because we're on Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. It's so important to keep that energy high. And as someone who's performed in stage and theater and on set, I think it's so important to see people during a performance. And so this way, like, I mean, I was audibly crying last week when Rochelle, who's the podcaster, told her story, you know, and my whole team was like watching, we're all crying together on Zoom. So we may record those and release those for investors, you know.
That's cool. Yeah.
So there's definitely so many directions that we can go in, but I think starting simple, getting a following, and then going from there is great. And working with companies and new companies like Hyped, talking to you on BitClout podcast, which is phenomenal. You're so lucky you got that name. You know, it's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And I think it's important to slow down and really, if you're going to do this, not just for fun, but to really turn it into something that's going to monetize, you've got to look at the big picture and you have to take a step back sometimes. And so that's what I decided to do by doing it once a month, because I only want to give the best quality, or I just don't want to put it out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes I feel like that about the podcast because
how many days do you do it?
Well, I think my approach at the beginning was I'm just going to go as fast as I can. Like, this is a first mover advantage.
I get that. That's how I did Quarantine But Cute on Instagram. I was doing 3 shows a day.
No.
I was crazy.
I was trying to do 3 to 4 per week.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. But see, I also produce other podcasts, and I have co-host another one about crypto, and we put a lot of effort into it. And
it's a lot of work. People don't realize it is so much work. What if you did 2 a week?
Yeah, well, so I mean, technically speaking, like in that podcast, like if you and I were doing that podcast, you would be recording your audio in a studio, so to speak, something studio, like a normal production type microphone, and
I have all that.
Yeah. So we would kind of insist on that. You would record. My co-host is in LA. She would record. I would record locally. We take all that audio and synchronize it. Have an editor work that, and then we have more packages within the podcast. So it's a production. But when I did this one, I said, look, I just want to do one by myself, and I'm going to dispense with all that technical, perfection, and just do it. And so here we are on StreamYard. We can just quickly jump on and do a discussion, almost like a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then I'll do an intro and an outro. It's me rambling. I don't script anything.
Clearly.
Right.
I mean, either, but I've got it down to science. Like for me, my shows are 1 hour or less every week, every Wednesday on Instagram, and people come.
Yeah. So, but literally, I just took the approach of I'm not even going to edit it now, but now I do. So now I'm like, all right, I'm getting higher level guests. Like I'm starting to try and attract different, like less guests, but maybe work harder to get them type of, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so I want to at least to sound as good as I can make it, and maybe edit out some of the bad parts and things like that. Like literally, I speak slowly, I swallow too much, I do all the things that you don't want to listen to.
Well, if you want people to watch it, you have to be more succinct. You have to pick your guests wisely. You have to stay on topic, and you have to be you.
Yeah. So I'm putting things on other people to make that easier for me, and I'll probably do, now that I've this is episode 22. I'm going to probably do 2 to 3 per week. And one of those might be just sort of a wrap up. I like to just talk about the news.
Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There you go.
Yeah. It doesn't always work that way, but at least, I can fit it in. Yeah. But
that's great. We're all creating. I think it's just really important while you're in flow to make sure you can also be objective to what you're doing, or have a team that's objective, because without the team that I have, if I were just doing it my way, there'd be a lot of mistakes. Like I have an entire team of people that are like, wait, but what about this angle? But wait a minute, when you do that, it looks like this. You know, it's so important to have accountability partners in whatever you do.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I'm supposed to be accountable to my wife and business partner, but she doesn't even know what the name of my podcast is. So
well,
she just knows I'm doing a podcast. She's like, okay, you're doing a podcast.
You got to stop. You got to stop, and you got to take that time to explain it to her. Trust me, I'm guilty of it too.
I know. When she's ready, I will. But literally, you know, I've been
never going to be ready, Bill.
I know. But
never
see, I've been doing it.
That's how it works. Mel Robbins always says that. You're never going to be ready. You just have to start. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, for doing this, of course, I was like, I'm just going to go do it. I don't care how bad it is. But for her, it's we've been doing as a company, we've been doing a project about crypto where we've traveled parts of the world and doing stories about crypto and, you know, pretty high level production things. And she's actually traveled internationally with me on those and crewed a little bit. But she just was like so disinterested in crypto and Bitcoin. Like literally, she's like, I don't know about it. I don't really want to know about it. And
for
I was
me,
like, okay, well then.
I get that though. Like I'm less interested in crypto. I'm more interested in the fact that crypto is a part of creators growing now.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's awesome. You're I think I heard you say this, that that BitClout was a gateway to crypto for you.
I don't know if I said that exactly, but yes, I have said things like that before.
Yeah.
Someone else. But yeah, maybe I did say it. Who knows? I can't remember what I did yesterday.
No, because I thought about it and I was like, well, I think crypto was a gateway to BitClout for me. You know, I've been studying
crypto. That's awesome. Look at that. Yeah. Look at how the worlds are combining between these more creative arts into these technical arts. It's fascinating.
Sure. And it makes perfect sense for me because I've grown up as a musician and producer and artist, so to speak, you know, so it was a natural thing for me to see BitClout. It's like, wow, this is something I can get into. And quite honestly, I'm looking forward to actually starting to collaborate with some creators on some things for the podcast. So
there you go.
That's part of the reason I'm trying to put more work on other people so I can.
Well, I do voiceover. I do voiceover.
All right.
National studio upstairs if you need anything.
Awesome. That's good to know because we do a lot of radio for our agency. So you never know. Well, Lauren, I can't thank you enough. This has been fun. We're going to have to maybe go get some hash browns someday.
Yes, it's going to happen.
I'll bring my wife and see if she can, see if you can talk her into, you know, understanding BitClout.
I could just explain it to her in an easy way. And I think if people look at it, like I said, especially if you're not from the crypto world, if you look at it from a creator standpoint, it's to the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. She just has always, you know, we've been together a long time and people used to ask her, what does Bill do? And she said, well, he just kind of makes shit up.
Oh my God.
We're like, because I'd be writing commercials or something, you know, and she's like, he just sits around and makes things up.
Me too. We're like soul siblings. I think it's amazing. We both probably have chronic idea disorder.
I do. I absolutely do.
So there we go. You know, something.
All right. No, keep doing something. Something's got to work.
Just be creative and be you. That's the best thing you can do.
I agree. All right. It's good getting to see you in person after hearing your voice so long. I can't thank you enough for jumping on the podcast with me.
Thanks for having me. Bye, y'all.
Stick around.